This video is brought to you by Envato. The landscape of media is shifting, and photographers are adapting their skills to meet new creative and technical demands. While photography and videography share many of the same fundamental principles, the transition between the two isn't quite as seamless as one would hope. Some of the biggest mistakes that photographers make when filming video ultimately stem from good habits ingrained from your photography practice, but that don't ultimately serve you when it comes to making video. In this video, we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes that photographers make when filming video, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did when I started to make video work. One of the most frequent issues that photographers have when switching to video is a completely new relationship with how we deal with exposure. Unlike photography, where a single frame can easily be manipulated in post without major consequence, video work requires a constant exposure across multiple frames in order to maintain a professional, clean look. As photographers, we're used to being able to adjust our shutter speed to balance the exposure in our images. However, in video, our shutter speed takes on an entirely different role in the way that our camera operates. The shutter speed directly affects how the motion blur is translated through the lens. We need to have a consistent shutter speed in order to maintain a natural-looking motion blur. The general rule for professional video quality is to set the shutter speed at double the frame rate. For example, 1/48th or 1/50th for 24 frames per second, or 1/60th for 30 frames per second. Raising or lowering the shutter speed to try and affect exposure will result in unnatural, jittery motion blur, which we want to avoid. While adjusting ISO is a common way to brighten or darken an image for a photographer, this approach to ISO needs to change when we start to think about video. Most video cameras have a base ISO, which is a specific ISO setting that'll deliver the cleanest image quality with minimal noise and the widest dynamic range possible for that camera. For example, I'm shooting on a Canon R6 Mark II, which has a base ISO setting of 800, which I treat as a kind of set it and forget it setting. To get the best results out of your specific camera, be sure to look up the base ISO for your model. A common mistake photographers make is neglecting the use of neutral density or ND filters. An ND filter is essentially like putting on a pair of sunglasses in front of your camera lens. The more stops of ND that you put on, the more light it's filtering out, which ultimately brings down your total exposure. In video, we use ND filters to maintain proper exposure, while being sure to keep a fixed shutter speed. These can be extremely useful if we're trying to get a proper exposure outside on a sunny day, while keeping our camera at its base ISO and our shutter speed at twice of our frame rate. This video is brought to you by Envato. Unlimited downloads of high-quality assets and a full stack of AI tools. Every type of asset for any type of project. Follow the link in the description and start creating now. Lighting for video requires a fundamentally different approach than how we think about light in photography. In photography, we typically use strobe or flash, which can output an incredible amount of light in a short burst. But as we move into video, we start to talk about using continuous light sources. The dynamic nature of moving images means our lighting needs to be consistent and serve the scene's mood rather than just affecting our subject. In photography, we often position our light towards the subject's face and then fine-tune the light to create a flattering portrait. However, in video, it's more effective to focus on lighting the entire space rather than just the subject. Approaching your lighting with this concept helps to create consistency and depth in a scene, while maintaining a natural, believable lighting situation. A common mistake photographers make when transitioning into video is overlooking practical lighting sources already present in the scene, such as a lamp or a window. In video, it's important to consider the motivation behind lighting, and using these practical sources can have a major impact on the final look with minimal effort. Learning to use these practical light sources will help your artificial lighting blend seamlessly into the environment, creating a clean, professional look. A well-planned shoot makes the editing process significantly easier. Many photographers who are new to video aren't able to see ahead and see how their footage is going to come together in the edit. A storyboard is a crucial pre-production tool for video creators. A good storyboard will serve as a blueprint for the entire shoot, including details such as locations, compositions, lighting diagrams, camera angles, wardrobe notes, audio ideas, just to name a few. Creating a detailed storyboard will help you clarify and refine your vision ahead of the actual production, turning all of your abstract ideas into a tangible plan, allowing you to effectively communicate with the other members of the crew and/or the talent on set. Unlike in still photography, where a single image can stand alone, video requires multiple angles and shots to create a seamless product. Capturing a variety of wide shots, close-ups, and details gives the editor, whether that's you or someone else, a whole lot more flexibility when it comes to making the edit. Small continuity errors, such as changing lighting situations or inconsistent subject placement, can really disrupt the viewer's experience of a video. There is already so much to pay attention to during a photo shoot, but having the extra attention to detail to focus on these small things will save you a huge headache come the editing process, as even a small continuity error can ruin what was otherwise a great take. Photographers transitioning into video often struggle with camera movement, as they're used to composing for static images. In video, camera movement can add energy and depth, but when used incorrectly, it can make an otherwise good image look unpolished. Unlike adjusting composition in a single frame, videographers must plan movements with intention, using tools like gimbals, sliders, and tripods to create nice, controlled motion. Learning when to move the camera and when not to move the camera and simply let the scene play out is a key to achieving a professional look. The 180-degree rule is a principle in videography that keeps the scene visually consistent. It states that the camera should stay on one side of an imaginary line drawn between two subjects to maintain a consistent screen direction. If the camera crosses that imaginary line, it creates a jump in perspective that can be confusing to the viewer. Unlike photography, where composition is static, camera movement in video can be used to enhance the visual storytelling, whether it's following a subject or revealing information. Random panning, tilting, or zooming can be distracting and can easily take the viewer out of the scene. Thoughtful, deliberate camera motion adds to a more professional and engaging final product. Audio is essentially of equal importance to the visuals in a video, as it completely shapes the viewer's experience. Poor sound quality, such as muffled dialogue, distracting background noise, or inconsistent levels, can make even the best-looking footage feel unprofessional and hard to watch. Clear, well-recorded audio helps to immerse the viewer and reinforce the storytelling. On-camera microphones are a great first option, but you'll quickly come to realize that they fail to produce a high-quality sound. Fortunately, there are a number of alternatives, such as shotgun microphones, lapel mics, and portable recorders, all which offer a much higher recording quality and can be used separately or attached to your camera. These ensure much cleaner, more focused audio without breaking the bank. Background noise can be a major distraction in video, drawing the viewer's attention away from the subject and decreasing the overall quality of the production. Sounds like traffic, an air conditioner, or a distant conversation can easily distract from the underscore or the dialogue. Managing background noise is crucial, whether it's by using directional microphones, recording in a quiet environment, or with cleaning it up in post-production. The transition from photography to videography has numerous overlapping skills. From our ability to create compositions to how to interact with our subjects, it's not entirely starting from scratch. However, producing video requires us to adapt to a new set of principles and challenges. By avoiding the common mistakes we've covered in this video, you're going to be well on your way to creating high-quality video content. Learning to think like a filmmaker rather than a photographer with a video camera is the key to success.